Trump deploys Homan, anti-ICE network is revealed, and RX shakeup. We're going to cover that and more here on the Bald Brad Show. If it's your first time being here, let us know in the chat or the comment section. Always great to see you. We, across all platforms, are looking at well over 1,000 people watching our show each and every day. So shout out to you guys that are choosing to watch me give you the news each and every morning, where we break things down. We check out video. We do it all here, folks. And if you're kind of confused as, well, where's everybody at? If you have over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, you have 75,000, probably will reach 100,000 subscribers on TikTok this year. Like, where's the producer? Where's the team? Who's doing this with you? Absolutely nobody. I do everything myself. I run the Switch myself. I run the content myself, the website myself. And yes, we do have a website called baldbrad.com. Make sure you head over there, check it out. If you want to give me a dono, meaning a donation, I would kindly and be happily taking your money. And it all goes back into the show because, well, we got to pay for everything that we run here. It is my hobby. This is not my career. And we have a good damn time here. And we built up a great community over the last 5 years here on the show. I would say we have one of the best, if not the best communities on all of social media. Well, enough of me rambling. I think we got enough people in here in the stream. Let's do it. So Trump is dispatching Homan to Minnesota amid continued protests. And you have Minnesota Democratic Governor Tim Walz spoke with Donald Trump, which is always fascinating, right? He spoke with Trump. And the funny thing is that why would you ever speak to a Nazi? You know what I mean? That's odd. Oh, Trump is Adolf, you know? I mean, that's what we're being told each and every day, are we not? That Trump is terrible man. And that Trump has a little mustache, just like little Adolf does. And he's a Nazi. He's a fascist. He's a dictator. He's an authoritarian, right? Even though they're all different things, but he's everything all in one. I mean, truly like America, right? A real melting pot. And but they're willing to, work with them. Yeah, hey, what's going on, Adolf? Yeah, big guy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd love to work with you. So let me get this straight. You're going to call the guy a Nazi, a threat to democracy, a threat to the republic, an authoritarian, a dictator, a racist, all these other things, but you're willing to pick up the phone and have a nice conversation with them and willing to work with the guy? I got a lot of questions for you, buddy. A lot of questions there, Timmy Tam. Meanwhile, the president has sent his border czar, Tom Homan, to help head up the operation in the city. The situation remains tense, however. The protests have ebbed and flowed. The reason why I'm laughing, that phrase right there, ebbed and flowed, is that's exactly the words that Karine Jean-Pierre used when we were in a recession. Yeah, things ebbs and flows. Yeah, ebbs and flows. That's hilarious that they threw that in there. Who wrote this? What a smart aleck. I love it. Oh, it's just by the Morning Wire. They know what they're doing over there. I adore stuff like that, where they just throw a little mud in their face, throw it right back at them. That was Karine Jean-Pierre's favorite thing to say. Well, things just ebbs and flows. The protests have ebbed and flowed, but as viral footage from Monday shows, agitators continue to wreak havoc in some areas. I mean, these people have no life. I told you they're mentally ill. The only way these people can be saved in terms of, cognitively and have any sort of brain power function left by the time they're 70 is to get right with Christ. And I fully believe that. In one particularly wild situation in St. Paul, a group of anti-ICE agitators attempted to break into a Home2 Suites where they thought, you love this, they thought immigration agents were staying. Cool. So we're not sure, but we're just going to destroy this entire property in the hopes, or maybe, possibly, could be, shoulda, woulda, coulda, might have, throwing out a little curveball here, might have some immigration guys in it. Gotcha. Okay. No, that's a great thing. No, that's really smart, really wise. These people are animals. They run off pure emotion. There is no logic and reason with them. That's why, folks, I'm telling you, it's just best to stay away from these people. There's no reason to confront them unless they're breaking and entering into your property. You stay away from it. Don't even bother going to these protests. They'll delete you, folks. They don't care one iota. Those say the same thing. Oh, ICE will delete you. ICE is going to pick you up and take you to concentration camps. It doesn't matter if you're an American citizen. Really? Nobody believes that, by the way. The people that believe that stuff are, they a little something wrong with them. That ain't a normal. That's not a normie. That's not an average Joe human being right there, folks. Those are people that struggle for work. If they have work, they got lucky, and they are really struggling in life, and we got to pray for them. They need help. And a mental institution ain't help, folks. I'm telling you. And I think a lot of you are with me on this one. You can put them in the institution. You can give them all the medication that's going to mask the problem. You want to know what the problem is? They're not close to God. That's literally the problem. They're not right with God. They're not close to him. They don't spend time with him. They're not within the scriptures. That is the answer. And usually the answer is very simple. A lot of these people are lonely. Yeah, I'm sure people in the chat here are lonely too, but you found a community that is not going out yelling at Teslas or cars driving by or burning buildings or, I don't know, going after somebody's home 2 suites there and destroying it because you think that there's people in that building that maybe shouldn't be. You found a community of like-minded people that are pro-American, conservative, and obviously Christian. I don't ever feel lonely. Do you want to know why? I mean, granted, you know, I'm married, but the other aspect of it is that, let's say I wasn't, is one, I'm an introvert, but two, you know that Christ is walking with you. You're never really alone. This isn't like a sermon or preaching, but when you're right with your God, do you know what I mean? And I'm saying your God because some of you, you know, you're different faiths. You don't really ever feel lonely. You know, you got your ups and downs. Don't get me wrong, it's always going to be there. But you're never going to feel lonely to where you have to go find some sort of mob to be able to connect with human beings on a level that's animalistic so that you can go out and destroy people just so that you can ultimately be connected to some, I don't know, group or body of people. I really do think those are all variables. Well, again, they thought there was an agent staying in the building. There was only one officer there to fend off the mob. The Bureau of Prisons officer ended up bloodied and asking where in the world were the local police. Really? That was your question? Where in the world was the local police department? I don't mean to be rude to the Bureau of Prisons officer. What a scary situation to be in. By the way, he might have not even been there for the immigration stuff. He might have just, he might have been on vacation. Now, why you choose that area for vacation, Lord only knows. I mean, who's asking, hey, you know what? You know what we're going to do this weekend, kids? I know, get ready. Oh, boy, we've been planning this one. Me and Mommy been planning this one for some time. Yeah, we've been saving up for years for this trip. You know where we're going to go? And they're thinking Disneyland, you know, Six Flags, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios, you know, something cool. All right, kids, get together here. We're going to Minnesota. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. There's a vacation. Who the hell wants to go to Minnesota? Holy Lordy. Oh, yeah, it's the first place you think of. I know. It's one of the bluest states in the union, by the way. Everybody just forgets about it. Oh, Lordy. So he's wondering where the local police department's at. I don't even know why you're asking that question there, bud. You want to know why they're not there? It's because they're told not to be there. They're told to stand down, allow this stuff to happen. You saw it before. This is nothing new. We saw this with Chaz and Chop. You saw this with Antifa before, especially with the George Floyd protests. This is nothing new. This is all organized crime. It's not protesting. It's not organic. You want to know how we know that? Matter of fact, let me find this for you. I'll show you how we know this. Okay. Now, we think Kash Patel is sitting back doing nothing. And don't get me wrong, at times it definitely does feel that way. But here he is on Benny Johnson's show talking about how this stuff is fully funded. And I know you guys know this, but here he is.
And that's the distinction. If you want to go out there and peacefully protest, have at it. You want to go out there and use your Second Amendment right to bear arms? Okay, no problem. But look at the situation in Minnesota. This is not something that just happened overnight. They've been rioting recklessly, destroying federal vehicles, ramming federal agents, literally hitting them, striking them, and as you just highlighted, using coordinated attacks to threaten their families. None of that is lawful, and none of that will be tolerated. You do not get to touch law enforcement.
The problem is it is being tolerated, Cash. And I think that's why a lot of Americans are starting to get frustrated with Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, is because they're saying, it totally reminds me of Joey. Don't do that. Don't do that. When I say Joey, I'm talking about Joe Biden. Don't do that. Stop it. You shouldn't be doing that. That's not lawful. Can't be doing that. But they are doing it. And for us citizens that are law-abiding citizens that don't like crime, don't like what's going on, it's wrong, and you keep telling us that they're not allowed to do it, but they are doing it, we're getting a little bit pissed off here, Cash. And some people aren't getting a little bit pissed off. They're getting really pissed off. It's very, very frustrating that you're telling me that they're breaking the law, and I'm not seeing anybody being arrested. It's very, very frustrating. I think a lot of you are with me. And why don't you let me know in the chat if you're with me or not on that one. It's okay if you're not. We can still be friends. But I think a lot of you are frustrated in the chat. I'd be curious if you are or are not.
Also, investigations ongoing into the funding of this. We've made actual substantial progress. I just can't publicize it yet. But we've actually found groups and individuals responsible for funding it because it's not happening organically.
This is incredible to hear. And
I'll believe it when I see it. I believe that there's funding going on. That's a no-brainer to me. Are you kidding me? All the stuff these people have. I don't see anything happening, though, in terms of arrests. So for me, it's all just, you're blowing smoke. Yeah. We'll see. I'll be shocked. So moving forward here on this one, it says several sources within the federal government told the Daily Wire that they are happy Homan will be coming because they are losing trust in Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, not only because of her rush to call Alex Preddy a domestic terrorist, yay, but also her assertion he showed up armed and with ammo on Saturday to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to delete law enforcement. I mean, yeah, it's rough. Yeah. It's a rough one to say. I'll give him that. And I got nothing on that one. she put herself in a tough spot. It's always best to hold back and kind of wait for the evidence. If you guys notice, very rarely when somebody gets deleted, am I coming out and doing a TikTok video or a YouTube Shorts video or whatever on the situation. I don't know if anybody's noticed that over the last 5 years of doing this show, I tend to not be quick with judgment in terms of what happened in a situation, especially like that one where it's very, very difficult to assert what happened. Like the one where that lady tried to run over the cop, that one was clear as day, right? You could see him standing there. She pulls forward. Whether she meant to do it or not, that part we don't know. We're not in her head and we can't be anymore. Well, because she got deleted. But it looked and appeared that she tried to run that guy over, that police officer who was dragged through the streets not too long before that by also being ran over, which makes sense why he wanted to pull his firearm and, well, shoot her. This one was not as clear as day for me in terms of what was going on. There's a lot of chaos. So I like to wait and see kind of what happened. And you want who also echoed that was actually Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino came live, surprisingly, and gave the same situation as I did. Did Brad say he was coming out? Stop it, Pat. You would love that, wouldn't you, Pat? Finally, you could get with me, you weirdo. If anybody doesn't know who Pat is, Pat's one of our moderators. He's been around for a while. We're tight. Okay. So that's Tom Homan's going to Minnesota, and he's being dispatched over there. And the reason why that kind of is news as well is because oh God, what was the guy's? Greg Bovino, who you've heard of, and there was some weird news on this yesterday. Boy, oh boy, there was stuff going back and forth. And I'm going to show you what the back and forth was in a moment, because I'm going to go to Nick Sorter's page, because he was kind of doing breaking news stuff. So Border Patrol commander reassigned after fatal Minneapolis shooting. So Gregory Bovino, this is the guy. Do we have a photo of him? That's not really what he looks like. Let's see. All right, I don't have a photo of him. If you, I'll try to find some guy that looks like him, but or guy that looks like him. I'll try to find a photo of him. Well, he was the commander of leading high-profile ICE operations in Minneapolis. He is returning to his post in California following the January 24th shooting of Preddy during Operation Metro Surge. Video shows agents pepper spraying Preddy, and well, you saw the video. So what's odd is people were saying that he was he left Minnesota and that he was no longer, like, he was relieved of his duties. But then I was getting reports that, well, he's back and that Trump basically saved his job and that Trump wasn't aware of the situation. So we're going to go through this, and some of this might be breaking for me because when I woke up, or when I went to bed last night, that was what was going on. So let me see what we got here. Give me un momento, please. So that's 24th. Matter of fact, you could search through this with me. You can see some video. What I'm looking for is the report. Okay, so here's at least the Bonvino, that guy. So this is the guy that people were talking about yesterday. And I'm trying to find... Well, let's look at this. Here's the here's them breaking into a place. Jeez. The crazy thing is that this just looks like Los Angeles. It's like, it's what LA looks like all the time. And they'll put a board up for a while. I'm still looking for it. I apologize. Give me un momento, please, 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 please. Maybe he took it down. But it was yesterday. Okay, here we go. Commander Bombino is an American hero and nobody can convince me otherwise. Thank you for heroic service. So maybe he did get relieved. Major breaking. Gregory Bombino has now been relieved of duty as commander of at large of the U.S. Border Patrol. I've exclusively learned this is BS. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to start with. Yesterday, this is what I saw was this post here by Nick Sorter. And he said, major breaking, that Bombino has now been relieved of his duty. This is BS. Trump must reverse this now. Okay. So then you scroll up and you keep going. And you get this odd post that Trump says he and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey have spoken and Tom Homan and Frey will be meeting tomorrow. But if you're Mayor Jacob Frey, as I said at the beginning of today's episode, why would you ever meet with a Nazi? Why would you want to meet with fascists and authoritarian and dictators? Why would you want to do that? That's odd. I wouldn't. Why would I want to do that? That's freaky deaky. 1 second, please, Brad, while Brad catches up. Yeah, I'm trying to get there. Sorry. And then there's no longer a commander at large of Border Patrol. The position has been eliminated. This is ridiculous. So then he comes out with that. But it keeps going. I stand by my report until Border Patrol agents are back under control of Greg Bombino. Press releases are simply words. My Border Patrol agent sources across the country are fiercely loyal to the man leading them into battle every single day to defend this nation. And then he's asking CBP, why has Greg Bombino and his team been locked out of his social media accounts? Do not back down. So this is all happening in real time. There's a lot of there's news breaking about this. If you're curious, Greg Bombino was trending heavily on Google yesterday, around 3 p.m. my time, Pacific Standard Time. So then this comes out 5 hours later. Following our report, President Trump has personally stepped in and saved Greg Bombino's role as commander at large of the U.S. Border Patrol. So he was relieved, but now he has his position back, allegedly. And I believe that's where it left off. I can confirm President Trump was not aware of the prior decision to remove Greg Bombino from his role as commander of operations at large of the United States Border Patrol, nor was Secretary Noem. Trump and Noem fully backed Mr. Bombino, and someone down the chain, as we'll say, will have a rough week. So somebody looks like they might be getting fired. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And I think that was his last update. Yeah. So is he relieved? Is he going back to California? I actually don't know. This is the most up-to-date information I have. We do know that Tom Homan is going there to sort this stuff out. But look, Trump said, give us all the illegals and we'll leave. They don't want to do it. They don't want to comply. Well, speaking of Minnesota, specifically Minneapolis, by the way, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit that like button if you can, that thumbs up button on your screen or on your phone. It does help support the show, and it shows that people were engaged with the channel and the show. you have Minneapolis protester network exposed. This is something we talked about a little bit yesterday. You guys have been sending me a lot of information with Cam Higbee, who is an independent journalist that has not only done kind of similar stuff to Charlie Kirk, where he's taking questions on campus with a microphone and table. A little bit similar to of how Steven Crowder kind of kicked all that off. I think he's kind of the OG. He's going out kind of doing a little bit of almost like Nick Shirley type stuff, going out talking to people, exposing stuff. And he got into some Signal chats, and he's seeing how really coordinated all of this is, not just with the funding, but more specifically of checking license plates, seeing if they're ICE or a government vehicle or not. They're not even really sure, and they'll still just break through people's cars and vehicles because, you know, that's the normal thing to do. As I mentioned, these people are far from normies, folks. These people are psychos. Minneapolis protester network exposed after Border Patrol deleted that 37-year-old ICU nurse, Alex Preddy, which, again, is a tragedy. I mean, the guy lost his life. A young man put himself in a terrible situation, and in a situation of which, if he would have just been at home, would have never happened. Now, should he have the right to go down there and protest? Absolutely, do it peacefully. That's not what he did, though. Yeah, he decided that he wanted to, with a firearm on him, a right to carry firearm. But I'm a Second Amendment advocate. I don't have any qualms with people carrying. I don't care if you're the left or the right. But you know, if you're a concealed carry and you have a license to carry, you know full well that you don't do stuff like that. Everybody knows that that is a carry. And anybody in the chat that knows that has a carry, back me up on that one, that you know that you don't ever do what Alex Preddy did. Everybody knows that does firearm training. Everybody knows when you have to do a concealed carry class, you go through stuff like that. So what that guy was thinking, have no idea. No idea. Very, very stupid. And unfortunately, it cost him his life, sadly. But questions are mounting about the sophisticated network behind anti-immigration enforcement demonstrations. The picture coming into focus is more structured activism operating through layered networks on the ground in Minneapolis. I heard there's an individual that is in the Minnesota government that has been found to be in one of those networks, in one of those chats. Let's see if we can pull up her name in a moment. If that is true, by the way, if that is true that you are having government officials in these chats that are coordinating this activism, then right now you have the Minnesota government is playing part in going against the federal government in terms of trying to apprehend illegals and criminals right now. You have the government actively going against the government. That's crazy. The networks that Preddy was reportedly involved in rely heavily on encrypted messaging platforms, especially Signal, to coordinate movement rather, in real time, essentially sharing locations of federal vehicles, hotels housing agents, and enforcement activity. According to Signal materials leak from these groups, protesters take shifts and operations run 24/7. With dispatch calls maxing out at 50 people at a time. They divide their patrol zones into districts and guide ICE chasers on positioning. This is what these people want to do. They're taking shifts. Look, maybe they just enjoy it. I don't know. That's my guess. I mean, it's a little odd. I mean, you could go out there and do other things. I don't know, like take care of your kids. That's one thing. Or, but by the way, these same people that go out there and doing these protests complain about the economy, they can't get ahead in life, they're struggling, they can't pay their bills, they're not going to have retirement, they're in debt. Well, maybe rather than going out and protesting and doing all this stupid stuff, maybe go out and find a second job. I work 3 jobs. By the way, never complain. I could go out there and I could be an anti-protest to these weirdos going out there and acting amok. And put my life on the line, all this other stuff. I don't want to do that. I'd rather work and make money, get ahead, because life is competition. I would rather get ahead than those psychos out there on the street, and then they'll continue to complain. They are getting paid to do it. That is true. That is fair point. Shroba, making me look stupid on my own show, but it is a fair point. Some of them are getting paid, but not all of them. Not all of them, but some of them definitely are getting paid. So we're on Cam's page here. This is the Cam Higbee, who shout out to him, man. If you want to follow him on X, highly recommend it. He's on all platforms, really. But his name's Cam Higbee. Been doing a phenomenal job of exposing This is a guy that's actually like Nick Shirley putting his life on the line, man. These guys have some cojones because these lefties will track you. They'll find you. They'll harass your family. They'll harass your friends. And they will delete you. So shout out to Cam, man, and Nick Shirley. Those guys, those are some freaking tough guys, man. I suppose maybe things get a little bit different once you start having a wife and kids. It's not all about you anymore. And I'm not saying these guys are selfish by any means. But as far as I'm aware, they're both not married and they don't have kids. You got to take your priorities a little bit differently. And some would say, well, Brad, the highest priority isn't it freedom? Isn't it country? Well, no, I think your first priority is God, to be fair. I do. Your first priority is your relationship with God. And then it's your family. And then it's country. But, you know, it's, anywho. Let's see what this says. Shiver Me Timbers, they're spooked. So let's see what this says. It says, if you attended nightly Zoom healing... Wow. Hold on. Everybody settle down. I think we got a gem. This is what happens when you just source stuff out. This is reactionary a show, folks. This is commentary. Yeah, we have show notes on some articles, but most of this stuff is just us finding this greatness together. And that's what I love, is because we're all on this journey together and we get to stumble upon greatness as a group. And I think it just happened. We just found it. Okay, here we go. Everybody settle down. Get focused. If you attended nightly Zoom healing space tonight and were using your full name or first name and last initial as a Zoom user, do these two things as soon as possible. 1, deactivate all social media accounts with your names on them, including LinkedIn, for at least a brief time, or change your username and PFP to something random. Sign up for a Google alert on your name and consider services like Delete Me or Easy I can't see that. Easy opt-out, I think is what that says. It's really small and the colors are similar. A recording from tonight was posted on Nazi Twitter by Cam Higbee. There you go. Yeah, they call Tom Homan a Nazi, but they're willing to meet with the guy and work with him. So odd. His followers have been trying, and there's a read more. Oh boy. So here's some links that you guys dig into, enjoy. This is Signalgate. ACLU, Attorney General, evidence of abduction. Do not share videos and pics. Who is this?
Anna Hall.
It's quiet, huh?
Hi, my name is Anna Hall. I'm an attorney here with the Community Defense Program, and my focus is on bail and bail reform in the state of Minnesota. I'm originally from Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk land, currently known as Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Two things. First, immediately knew her ideology because it says she, hers down there. Okay, immediately knew that. So could I have been wrong? Yeah, but that's why your ears perk up and you listen, right? Like Judge Judy used to say, put on your listening ears. The second part is from the Sasquatchian part of the Navajo tribe that took over the Kabuti, the Shabuda tribe of the Sasquatchian, also known as this. Why didn't you just say, yeah, I'm from this area? You want to know why? It's because it's all about giving people, the minorities, the acknowledgement that they deserve through the history of this oppressive country so that they feel recognized and affirmed.
And when I think about justice, what I think about
Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm going to subject you guys to this again. Hold on.
Wisconsin and Ho-Chunk land, from Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk land, currently known as Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
And when I think about justice, what I think about is that every person is inherently worthy of joy, community, and the ability to create a life that is.
Except if you're a baby in the womb. Then that's that. Hold on. Listen to this.
Community and the ability to of every person is inherently worthy. Every person is inherently worthy of joy, community, and the ability to create a life that is.
Except if you're a baby in the womb. Yeah, you'll be chopped up real quick. She'll be the one that actually pushed forward for it, right? She's the one that wants abortion rights for all women. You can't touch a woman's body. Yeah. So, lawyer on Signal helping with rebellion. That's who we just looked at here. A Signal admin claiming to be a lawyer is named Anna Hall. I searched Anna Hall in Minneapolis on LinkedIn. Top result happens to be a lawyer who took critical race theory and gender classes, of course. Of course. This is no surprise here. So, Legal Rights Center, all about justice. She's doing pro bono, folks. She's helping her community. So, now you got lawyers queuing up. There was one individual, I want to see, I don't know if it's Cam Higby that posted it, and I might have thrown it on my own profile here. I want to see if I did, of a Minnesota individual part of it. By the way, you guys are going to love this one. Look at this. The Dems yesterday, Trump is Hitler. ICE, the Gestapo. This is Nazi Germany. Somalians are Anne Frank. The Democrats today. Oh, we just got off the phone with Hitler and we're happy to cooperate with him and his Gestapo. Here's the messed up thing. This is literally what Joey looked like every day of his administration. Joey, you're president. I mean, you guys throw any question in the chat, this will be Joe's reaction. Let me zoom in for you. Don't worry. I got you. Yeah. You throw any question in the chat, this was Joey's reaction. Hey, Joey, what was your favorite ice cream? Hey, Joey, you know that you are the president of the United States. By the way, it works with anything, really. Democrats, you know that you were the promoters of slavery against black people. Hey, Democrats, you know that you voted against civil rights for black people. It's like, yes, I would be doing this even if I wasn't streaming. Yes, I would be. Jeez. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, we got to move on here. There's a lot of other news. Oh, God, we got to show you this. Sorry. Hold on a second.
Right here on the back, if you want, just read one of them, because there's one up here. Muhammad has multiple counts of credit card fraud. Oh, he's Somalian, right there. But we can do Ignacio. It was in the U.S. illegally from Mexico. He was previously arrested for child cruelty and battery. He was supposed to be deported, and Biden did not make that happen. Miguel is a Mexican national arrested previously for cruelty towards a child. There's one guy on here that was arrested for strong arm sodomy against a little boy and a little girl. Those are pedophiles.
Okay.
And so when you want ICE out of Minnesota or Minneapolis, this is who you're protecting.
No, I am not trying to protect those people. I'm protecting the actual people who had not had any previous criminal charges against them being deported. Sure, maybe those people have been convicted. Maybe they should get out. But
how do they get out, though?
I mean, get out.
But how does that happen without ICE?
Find some other organization not hiring criminals.
There isn't. There is no lawful organization that can remove somebody that's here illegally and committed crimes. They can't do it.
You know what that's called? That's called the fucking police.
The local police does not. They don't deport people. ICE does.
Okay, well, here's the thing, though. Say that,
I'm so
that's called the fucking police.
The local police does not. They don't deport people. ICE does.
Oh, welcome to your local Walmart door greeter, folks. And yeah, I'm sorry, that was disrespectful to all door greeters at Walmart.
Okay, well, here's the thing, though. Say that, they want to get these criminals, or they want to, like, convict these criminals, get them out, right? You want to know an easy way to know if someone been convicted, an easy way to get criminals? Go to the fucking jail cells, get the people that have already been convicted, get them out. Not
Who's going to tell him that they're not allowing ICE to know if an illegal alien that's criminal is in the jails or not? Who's going to tell him?
bring the people on the fucking streets.
Okay, so again, we're just going to talk calmly here. These people are pedophiles and they are criminals. Give me 1 second before your impulse tells you to interrupt me, okay? 1 second. If you don't want ICE going around, if you don't want them to exist, if you want them abolished, these people would still be in our streets. These people would still be going out and raping children. There is no one that could deport them. They don't have the agency to do that. And I think it's dangerous to
I saw that yesterday. Oh my God. The stuff I stumble upon is just gold. It really is. I mean, I said it last week. It really is mostly a New Year type thing. I really believe that if we are ran in a simulation, that the person that's running the simulation is on our side. Because the gems that we stumble upon, it's gold. It is awesome. Gah, gah. It's a freaking guy. I'm not for those pedos. I'm for just the people trying to live a good life. Oh, sure you are, buddy. Yeah, sure you are. Well, why can't local law enforcement just get them? Because your guys are actually saying to not do that. That's why, you idiot. Oh, damn. Man. Yeah, take a breather, folks. Have a sip of coffee or a little bit of Jack and Gin, whatever's your flavor this morning. I'm not promoting drinking at 6:38 in the morning, but some of you do. Some of you are a little liquored up. And no judgment, no judgment. All right, we got to move on here. Expanding over-the-counter drugs. We'll come back to the immigration stuff in a moment. Just want to cleanse the palate a little bit here. The FDA has launched a new initiative to get more drugs available over the counter. Is that a good thing? Moving away from the current prescription-only system, according to FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary, there will still be safeguards on drugs as necessary. This will apply to the many drugs that could be safely accessed over the counter but currently aren't. The goals are to lower healthcare costs by eliminating middlemen and to make it easier for people to get the medications they need. McCary told Morning Wire that the initiative is a common sense reform that is long overdue, addressing any archaic system, the prescription-only system that is simply not networking. I'd be curious in terms of what drugs they are talking about here, because we have a problem in this country, big time, even for normal people, is that we don't ever... There was a great thing that I heard from one of my buddies that was going through med school today, or not today, but like nowadays, where they're not really taught, they are, okay, but they're not really taught in the sense of solving the problem. It's more of just masking it. And the idea is that people expect to go to the doctor when they're sick and to get a prescription or some sort of medication to cure them. But that doesn't actually do that. It just masks the problem. And more often than not, people are going to the emergency room for being like sick, like they got a cough or the flu, and they expect some sort of medication. There's no medication there. You just need to go, sleep it off, get rest, get hydrated, get some electrolytes in you, and just, buckle up and break through it. Now, is that everything? No, but you understand what I'm saying. And a lot of this stuff just masks the issue. It doesn't actually solve it. So we got that there for you. I would also be curious, too, is there a sense of, now that you're opening up the market by removing that middleman, I totally get that aspect. The part that I'm curious on is that, well, now you've created easier access in the market to get these drugs. Is that still going to cause the price to either stay stagnant to what it is now with the middlemen, or would it actually increase because maybe the supply isn't going to reach the demand now that it's easier to get these things? I don't have an answer for you. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet. But something curious to think about is that, is this actually a good thing? I hope it is. If people really need those things, then, it's their life. And That's what it is. That is what it is. Okay, here we go. This is something I saw that caught my eye this morning when I woke up. You have this bellwether social media addiction trial puts Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok in the crosshairs. This kind of caught my eye. It says here, 3 of the world's largest social media platforms are heading to court on Tuesday as they defend themselves in a bellwether social media addiction case. The California Superior Court in Los Angeles County is set to hear the case, which alleges that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube have contributed to the growing problem with social media addiction and the mental health issues that stem from it. Jury selection from the trial begins on Tuesday, with opening arguments scheduled for next week. The case is part of a coordinated effort across the country that includes hundreds of similar cases with litigants accuse social media giants of fueling addiction. I just want to point out that these are also parents that are giving their kids cell phones, laptops, unfettered access to the internet. I mean, you're also part of that equation, aren't you? Yeah, we could blame these social media companies. I totally get it. And there's blame to be had. But who is giving their children access from basically kindergarten until 18 years old or 12th grade, all this unfettered access to the internet? You know how many times I've been in education for a decade now, literally a decade, from 2016 now to 2026, exactly 10 years. I could tell you endlessly, well, my kid's studying for 3 hours. And I always follow up. Do you know that for sure? Are you actively watching? No, they're up in their room. They're not studying for 3 hours. They're making TikTok videos, you guys. Do you want to know how I know that? You could search their name and go on TikTok and they're making TikTok videos. That's all you have to do. Yeah, they're not studying. They're doing stupid shit. Don't give me that. They're not studying 3 hours and they're still failing. Studying 3 hours is still failing. Are you kidding me? Come on. Got bigger issues then. But anyways, in the case before the California Supreme Court, a 19-year-old woman referred to as KGM argues that social media platforms have knowingly designed their platforms to get children and young users addicted. Well, I mean, it just isn't young users. I think it's just everybody. I mean, yes. Well, yeah. By the way, isn't that kind of every platform out there? Aren't you trying? I mean, what's the classification of addicted? That's really going to be the question here. Aren't they all designed to get you to use whatever service that they're providing? Isn't that like everything you create? Like, I have a service here that I'm providing you. Am I trying to get you addicted to my show? Sure. I wouldn't use that language. I don't think the addiction, but I would love for you to join us and come hang out. I look at it as friends just hanging out, getting the news together and stumbling upon some greatness every now and then, like we saw with that psycho during that on the street interview. But yeah, I mean, yes. Studies have shown that social media features such as autoplay and infinite scroll induce a dopamine hit. Correct. Which can lead to users spending hours on platforms each day. I have always said, since being an educator, dude, I think one of the top 3 worst things of in terms of a society that I've seen is social media upon these kids. I stumble because I don't know how to actually quantify. I've tried writing a book on this about the education system. I have, and I've tried starting many books. If you take all the books that I've started writing, kind of I'd have multiple books already done, put it that way. It's really tough to put in the words the damage that not only technology has caused children, I'm talking all the way up to 18 years old, but cell phones and social media. And they don't realize it because they grew up in that environment. You know, the kids graduating this year were born in 2008. This all they've ever had was a cell phone in their hands or these social media platforms. You guys, it's messed up. It is hard to watch because you can show them all the data, and I've done this before, and say, this is how bad social media is. This is how bad technology is, how you're utilizing it, where you're not utilizing it to learn. You're just utilizing it to do the work for you. And then you're going to hop back on YouTube or scroll through TikTok or whatever on your iPads or on your laptops. You could share all the damaging stuff about their generation of how businesses nowadays are not hiring Gen Z. They're hiring actually going back to baby boomers and my generation as well. Because the new generations don't want to work as hard. They have 50% mental health issues, all these things associated to them to where it's not even worth the risk of just hiring them anyways. You share all this information with them, right? Because you want to show them the characteristics that are ultimately going to lead to some sort of consequence that is negative in the hopes that they change, right? That's why you're showing it to them. You're not there to beat them up. You're not there to do anything. You're there to help them and progress them and show them, hey, this is what's going on. I am not, I've done this for years. I'm not exaggerating. I think it's about 60 seconds to where they will realize and go, oh, I shouldn't be on this. And guess what happens? Right back into it. So it is an addiction. It's a dopamine hit. They can't sit quiet. They can't just pull out a book. That's not a thing anymore, folks. That isn't. Some students can. Don't get me wrong. Most of them cannot. They don't have it in them. They can't. They'll start getting fidgety. You got about 4 minutes, and it's hilarious because it doesn't matter the age group. You got about 4 minutes before you start seeing the shuffle, and they start getting fidgety. It's really interesting to look at 30 to 40 people in your room and start seeing this stuff that's talked about here play out in real life. It's really sad to see, man, because if you just look at it without the mindset of the social media is the addiction or the technology, and then you flip it in your mind going, oh, these people are on drugs and they're children in front of you. That's the part where it's very unsettling, and it's really, really, I'm sorry to cuss right now, so I apologize if you have kids in the room. It's one of the most fucked up things I've ever seen. I really do mean that. I'm not exaggerating it. I'm not being an extremist or alarmist. Single-handedly watching what social media, technology, and truthfully, I mean, it's not always the parents' fault. I understand it's hard to manage it, but the lack of parenting and seeing what these kids are addicted to. I think in my lifetime, I don't think, other than like seeing history and the evils of the world, this is up there top 3. I don't think it'll ever be beat. It's really fucked up, you guys. Really. And I don't have words to quantify it for you, put it that way. I don't know how to quantify it for you other than you would have to be in there and watch it. And you will say, this is one of the worst things you've ever seen. I think some of you would spend the rest of your life trying to fix it, which is maybe what this person's trying to do. Really fucked up. And what's even worse is when I see these iPad kids, when I go out to like dinner or lunch or something, I just see them on their iPads, or the parents just throwing a screen in front of their kids. And I get it. I totally understand why you're doing it. Dude, I just shake my head. I'm like, you're basically giving your kid like a bunch of drugs. That's basically what you're doing. And I just shake my head, and I just in my head I go, man, that's terrible. Because I've seen the consequences of it down the road, and you're just messing your kid up for life, which is sad. Anyways, so I apologize, but I wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to share that with you. By the way, we're gonna have some big news here Friday. Just heads up, be on Friday's episode. So again, Friday or maybe Thursday. I might let you guys in on Thursday. Big news Thursday or Friday. Like, you want to be here. For those the regulars and everything, those that donate to the show, you're gonna want to be here. Got some news for you. And I'm not, it's not an understatement. Is that how it's phrased? Not an understatement. Anyway, all right, let's get back into this. So KGM social media, that's the 19-year-old, addiction resulted in crippling depression, body dysphoria, and suicidal thoughts, according to the lawsuit. Also, these types of thoughts and depression, with the implementation of AI on these social media apps, like, for example, Snapchat here, is, let me zoom in for you guys if you want to read it with me, is now what was happening, this is probably like 3 or 4 years ago, Snapchat implemented an AI bot that was basically like a companion that was supposed to help with the crippling depression and all these right here. The depression, the body dysmorphia, the suicidal thoughts. It wasn't, though. What they found was the AI companion on Snapchat was telling them to do heinous things to themselves, like cut themselves or delete themselves. And so Snapchat, and you guys remember, we covered this, had to release a warning saying, hey, you got to be careful with this stuff. It's not necessarily controllable. We're trying to fix it, is what they were trying to do. And I think they did. But it's going to flip back, because now people, even adults, are starting to have relationships with AIs. So you can get these models on your phone now, not like super models, but I'm talking, well, it's going to get there. But these AIs that will be your companion now will basically be your girlfriend. So if you're single, boys, don't do it. It says, KGM's case is just the first of many that are expected to trial this year, targeting Snapchat, Meta, which is Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, which is owned by Google. Snapchat settled with KGM. Really? But it remains a defendant in numerous other social media cases that are set to go before state and federal courts. Wow, they settled with her. I wonder how much she got out of that. YouTube told the Daily Wire that the allegations it faces in the cases are simply not true. But they are. Everybody knows it. Now, maybe the word addiction, the way it's utilized, isn't true. But to say that you're not doing everything in your power through marketing and other avenues to get people to use your platform and to use your service as much as possible is an insane statement to make. Of course, that's what you're trying to do. Everybody's trying to do that. Even business owners are trying to do that. I don't care what product or service you're creating. Your whole goal is to have as many people as possible to utilize that service or that good as much as possible without diminishing the quality of said good or service. Anybody that's taken a business 101 class knows that. Why do we acting stupid here? Do you know what I mean? Why are we acting dumb? You have to have the wherewithal in your own life to remove yourself from situations so that you can take care of your mental health, so that you aren't getting depressed. You have to remove yourself from the situations. And I've always said, find those ways to access that happiness. That's why Aristotle talked about that pursuit of happiness. It's actually a chapter. I forgot what, I don't want to say book, but what part he talked about that, but it's called Pursuit of Happiness, meaning human beings have been trying to access this and gain it ever since we had pastimes. So ever since we've started shoring up those, that free time is what we call it, or also known as pastimes, is we've been trying to access that happiness. And it's not just granted, you have to actually pursue after it. And that's why me personally, I have so many different hobbies and I do so many different things, is because I'm always constantly trying to achieve that happiness. And as long as I stay on this structured pathway that I've found for myself, whether it's reading the scriptures, have a relationship with God, reading books, hanging out with you guys, doing all these different things, I'm very happy in my life. And I feel like I'm accomplishing a lot of things. And there's a great movie called Into the Sahara with Matthew McConaughey. And you might have seen this, where the plane crashes in the middle of the desert. And they're basically screwed. And they're going to die. And everybody's getting depressed. And the guy says pretty much a good quote. I'm paraphrasing here. He's like, well, let's just build it. Let's just rebuild the plane to get out of here. And Matthew McConaughey's going, why even bother? It's not going to work. We can't get out of here. We're in the middle of the desert. We're not going to rebuild anything. And the guy says, and again, I'm paraphrasing, somewhere along the lines of, well, you just need to give man something to do. You need to give them a sense of not just work, but accomplishment. That's what man needs. And he was right. And I fully believe that. I think people just need something to do, that they're finding a sense of accomplishment, no matter how small or how big, and continue to progress forward with that and finding those avenues in their life. And it starts very small. And I agree with Jordan B. Peterson on this one for his 12 rules of life. Make your bed in the morning. That's a sense of accomplishment. You know, clean up the countertop just really quickly. It doesn't have to be put everything away in the kitchen. Just do something small. You will have a sense of accomplishment in the morning. Wake up early one time, take a hot shower, a cold shower, however you prefer. Those small things will add up over time. And what you will see is you're going to feel a lot better. And that's why I always end the show with today or every day, read a portion of scripture. Just read a paragraph. I'm not saying a whole book or a whole page. Just read a paragraph and meditate on it. Have questions for yourself. Have a conversation with God. That's going to help tremendously. It really, really is. Try it. Read a piece of scripture today. Providing young people with a safer, healthier experience has always been the core to our work, said YouTube spokesman Jose Castaneda. In collaboration with youth, mental health, and parenting experts, we built services and policies to provide young people with an age-appropriate experience. And parents with robust controls. That is true. I mean, they did implement that. They're not wrong. The allegations in these complaints are simply not true. I think there is an element of truth to it, but I think they are right that there are parental controls that parents aren't willing to do. Because nowadays, what I've found is parents want to be friends with their kids. They don't want to be parents. They want to be their friend. And when you're trying to be somebody's friend, sometimes you lack the certain things that are necessary in terms of raising somebody or helping somebody or guiding somebody. Sometimes, not always. You know how many phone calls I get a year by saying, hey, don't tell my kid I'm talking to you, or hey, can I meet with you, but don't tell my kid this or that. It's like, what? It's happened every single year, handful of times. Oh, please don't tell my kid we're talking, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what? You're the parent. What are you talking about? It's odd, man. It's odd. The Daily Wire also reached out to Snapchat, TikTok, and Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram. Snapchat told Daily Wire that it was pleased to have settled the KGM case in an amicable manner. What the heck does that mean? The KGM trial will likely put Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg on the witness stand, where he will have to answer questions in front of a jury. Meta's lawyers told Reuters that the social media giant will argue before the court that its platform did not lead to KGM's mental health issues. We'll see. YouTube said it will agree that its platform is different from those of the other defendants and shouldn't be considered in the case as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I wonder what the outgrowths of this case are going to be, because KGM might be making a boatload of money here. The California Superior Court trial could shape public opinion on social media platforms moving forward as companies face more trials, including one of the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. All this stuff's out of California. You notice that? These people, oh, mental health, I got problems. Like, why don't you get off social media then, dude? Well, I'm addicted. Yeah, you know what you do when you have an addiction? You get off the thing that you're addicted to. So cut the cord. You know what I mean? Get the phone away. Get a flip phone. I've hand to God thought about going back to a flip phone. I have obviously an iPhone, but I thought about going back to a flip phone myself because I don't really use it this much. I lose my phone in the house all the time. I don't know if anybody else is like that. Every day I lose this thing. When I'm at home, I don't know where I put it because it's always on do not disturb. There's only one person's number that will get through to my phone. One person. Well, two people. My mom's one of them. I love my mom. But that's it. Other than that, the text messages don't go through. I have to physically open up the app. I don't get notified on social media. So when you guys notify me, this right here doesn't go off. Can you imagine if I was notified for every comment that I got on my video through my phone? Do you know how crazy that would be? This would be going off thousands and thousands of time a day. So I don't really look at my phone all that much. My friends know that. My friends know if they're going to call me, they have to call me like 3 times. Sounds bad, but I don't. And by the way, don't even look at my phone. So I don't know if they're calling or not. So sometimes I don't look at it for a couple of days and go, oh, somebody called me like 2 days ago. Excuse me. Well, yeah, I who put that down there? Angel says my cell phone is my home phone. I mean, I think that's for a lot of people. I haven't seen somebody have a landline phone in their home for years. I mean, I'm sure the oldies do. The boomers in the chat probably have the old landline hooked up where it's going across your floor into another room. But most people, that's their home phone too. So we'll see what happens with this. I don't know. In recent years, Meta rolled out online safety features. There's teen accounts. I think Instagram now has a teen account, which I totally agree with. That automatically, if you're under the age of, I want to say it's 16. I think it's 16. You're automatically put into a teen account on Instagram, which is through Meta. Okay, so they are trying. So TikTok experience specifically designed for kids under the age of 13. I am in the realm, and this totally goes against my grain, as somebody that thinks the government shouldn't be involved in things. I don't think anybody under the age of 18 should be allowed on social media. That I very rarely give my opinion on the show. Seeing what I have seen in the education system, you are not going to change my mind on that. You are not going to change my mind. If you saw somebody addicted, I'll share a story with you. This is just one, but it gives you an idea. I've been doing this for a decade. I have endless freaking stories. When you're doing this 180 days a year, all day, and you have 200 people that you see every day, you have endless stories as an educator, as a teacher. I was teaching up in a school in LA years and years ago, and addicted to their phones. The texting was ridiculous, all this stuff. And I need to teach. My job is to teach you. And so one of my rules in the classroom, this was years and years and years and years ago, was to not have your cell phones out. And if I saw your cell phone out, I'm going to take it. You can't touch my phone, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I can. So one girl just could not get off her phone, guys. It was bad. Like one of the extremes. So all I said, and I always have a good relationship with my students. I'm not rude. I'm not mean. I don't disrespect them. Even if they disrespect me, I'm still polite, respectful. I said, hey, give me your phone. And she was polite. She gave it to me. And I said, look, You could grab it from the front office after school today. They'll pick it up for you. And she started, I'm not exaggerating this, shaking. She started starting to shake, and her hands started going like this. She's on her desk. And I said, hey, whoa, are you okay? No, I need my phone. And I was like, no, you can pick it up after school. She said, no, please, Mr. Roberts, I need my phone. And she started like breathing heavily in front of everybody, in the middle of class, dude. And I was kind of a new teacher around this time, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because this was probably my first real big job in terms of teaching. And I was like, what the fuck's happening right now? And I said, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Are you having a medical emergency? That's how bad this was. I didn't think it was correlated to the phone because, we didn't have that problem in school system. I'm still trying to learn the new stuff that is going on here. So I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And I couldn't figure it out. And so she goes, no, I need my phone. So I tested, I gave her back the phone, and she was completely fine. And I was like, what the heck? Yeah, panic attack. And so I said, okay. So I clicked in then. I was like, oh, I know what's going on here. So I took the phone from her and I said, look, I know you want your phone. I need you to pay attention to this lesson. I only have a little bit longer. It's in front of everybody, by the way, which is sad. I'm going to set it right here. And so, because she was really close to my desk at the time. And so I set it, this is probably like maybe 2 feet from her. And it's where she could see. I put on the edge of my desk. I said, it's going to be right there for you, which is probably the worst thing to do, right? probably the worst thing. No, she wasn't playing. She actually had to leave school. I had to call campus security, and they had to call emergency services. Yeah, she was having a full-fledged panic attack from being removed from her phone. One of the wildest things I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah. So you think that's an extreme case. It's not. Students will start shaking and getting fidgety on a mass scale if they can't be on their phones. Yeah, it has to be in their pocket. They'll feel comfortable with it in their pocket. It's messed up. I've seen that at every school district I've ever worked at. I've worked at a lot of different schools. It was bad. But it's very sad, man. It's very, very sad. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life is watching what technology and cell phones and social media have done to these kids. And the sad thing is they don't even know. And for us that grew up, like, right, I'm the last generation that grew up without technology and then, incorporated in my life. So my childhood was going out like all of us, where you just go. Your parents don't know where the hell you're going. They just go, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. Okay, see you later. And you were gone, man. Like, dude, you could have left at 5 in the freaking morning. And all of you know what I'm talking about. You could have left your house at 5 in the morning, dude, and shown up. As long as you come back, the rule that all of us did, you all know this, some of you are a little bit later. As long as you're back before the lights come on, the street lights, you were good. Or depending on daylight savings time, if you're back before sunset, you're good. We were never at home. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all this stuff. So we're going out on our bikes, traveling to the beach. Dude, I was a beach bum, man. I used to ride my bike. It was like 10 miles to the beach, and I had my bodyboard and my wetsuit. I'm just trying to cram it all there. Dude, you were never home. These kids don't go out anymore. If they do, they don't know what to do. You used to go, remember we used to all hang out at the malls back when? And that was the jam, man. You're acting amok, being silly. Social media. Dude, you had to call. If you wanted to go on a date with a girl or you had to call home and talk to her father, dude. I remember I tried getting this girl to go to a dance with me, and I was crapping my pants, man, because her dad picked up. And I was like, is Jenna Lynn there? Yeah. Or right, you're on the phone, you have your siblings, and then they get on the other phone, they're listening in on your conversation. You all know what I'm talking about. So anyways, yeah, we didn't do all this stuff, man. So, I'm not affected, but I don't need my damn phone. Dude, if I had no contact with the outside world, I am so good. But it's sad. It's sad. Alrighty, well, that's it. I got to peace out now, but appreciate all of you hanging out with me. We'll be back here tomorrow for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. Again, tune in definitely Thursday or Friday. I'd say both days for the big announcement. But with that being said, and it's going to impact everybody here, including myself. So I wouldn't ask you guys to show up if I didn't think it was a big deal. But I want to make an announcement for all of you, and it does have big ramifications. So that will be either Thursday or Friday, one of those two. So I'm going to try to do Thursday, most likely Thursday. I don't want to wait till Friday because I don't know if we're going to have a show Friday. We'll see. I might want to sleep in or something. All right. Well, pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Have a lovely day. Read some scripture. Have those little things that are going to have a sense of that accomplishment, that pursuit of happiness. Throw something away. Clean a countertop. Clean your underwear like Joe Biden should have been doing. Do something. With that being said, I love how I'm ending off on that part. I'll see you guys later. Adios.